My name is Angelica, and today I'll be discussing Boeing's 737 MAX crisis, resulting in 2 fatal aviation crashes in October of 2018 and again March of 2019. I will examine what went wrong and what we can learn from the event from a quality, safety, and leadership perspective. Thank you all for joining me today. My initial reaction to the Boeing video was deep concern about how many safeguards had to have failed for this to happen. Isn't the FAA supposed to prevent this from happening? I question why a full investigation wasn't aggressively pursued after the first crash. There were clear red flags, such as replacing the airline engines and older plane bodies without considering how this would affect aerodynamics, and failing to provide required sensors, which violated aviation policy standards. What stood out most was the disconnect between executives and frontline engineers. Leadership seemed detached from quality and safety, taking zero accountability. Additionally, the company seemed removed from protecting passengers and pilots' lives, given they had recently chosen to reduce pilot training from in-person simulation to an iPad-based format, which is alarming given the complexity of real-world conditions. Overall, it felt like speed and cost-cutting to stay ahead of the competition were prioritized over safety. Boeing's failure was not due to a single problem. The failure resulted from a system-wide safety culture breakdown. In this root cause analysis, I list a combination of technical, cultural, and regulatory failures that ultimately led to the loss of 346 lives. From both a leadership and a customer perspective, Boeing had multiple opportunities to act differently. After the first crash, they should have immediately grounded all 737 MAX aircraft worldwide, not waited for the President of the United States to shut them down. Safety should always take priority over financial considerations. They also should have had more transparent communication with the public as to what was going on. From an engineering perspective, they should have brought in top engineers for a second opinion to review all of the technical standards. As we learned in diversity of thinking, diversity of thought often catches blind spots rather than everyone thinking the same way. Finally, more rigorous pilot training could have empowered crews to respond more effectively. There's a possibility these measures could have prevented the second crash. Also, from the customer's perspective, trust was broken. Boeing could have rebuilt trust by offering meaningful restitution to the victims' families and customers, demonstrating more compassion and commitment to safety improvements. Warren Buffett sums it up well. It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll do things differently. The impact on Boeing's business was severe. The presidential executive order to have all Boeing 737 aircraft grounded resulted in major financial losses. Leadership was also affected. Ultimately, the CEO was removed, though many question why it took so long. Even now, over 5 years later, the company is still recovering, with profits not expected to return until around 2027. This case teaches an important lesson, most notably from our studies, and Philip Crosby's concept that investing in doing things right the first time can reduce long-term costs associated with failures and recalls. This is an important lesson in any industry, especially healthcare and aviation, where safety and ethics should always take precedent over competition and profit. I hope everyone listening to this presentation will adopt this mindset and put safety first. Thank you again for listening, and take care.